This section provides 25 questions and answers to help you review the content of this course and better understand Scrum. To add more value and increase your understanding, all questions are based on an imaginary project in an imaginary company. The scenario will be explained along with the questions. It is important to learn from the questions the first time you try them, and then you should be able to answer the majority of the questions on the second attempt. XCO is an IT company founded 3 years ago. They deliver small and medium projects and try to succeed in their business. Therefore, they have decided to test Scrum for the first time. They are in the middle of 4 projects right now, and a new project named SPRJ will be started soon. They wish to use Scrum in this project. Question 1. Do we need to discuss the Scrum with the customer too, and receive its approval for the use of this method? Select an answer. Yes, because it changes our delivery method. Yes, because it increases our return on investment. No, because it is our internal way of managing the project. No, because it is acceptable nowadays to use Scrum. The right answer is A. Scrum changes the way we are going to deliver the final product of the project, so we had better gain the approval of the customer to apply this method. They should be ready to receive the final product in small increments and give feedbacks, instead of waiting for the project to finish and receive the final product as a whole. Question 2. We are going to assign John, our marketing manager, to the role of product owner, but we are not sure about that, because John has recently joined XCO and he is not an expert in software development. Should we choose another person instead? Select an answer. Yes, we need an expert on our specialist work, capable of communicating with the customer. Yes, we need an expert on our specialist work, who is part of the team. No, he doesn't need to be an expert on our specialist work, given that he gets expert help when needed. No, he doesn't need to be an expert on our specialist work, he just needs to be business-oriented. The right answer is B. The product owner is to be mainly business-oriented, and they do not need to be technical. Development team handles all the technical aspects of the project. Question 3. We are going to assign John, our marketing manager, to the role of product owner, but we are not sure about that, because John has recently joined XCO and he is not an expert in software development. Should we choose another person instead? Select an answer. Mary, because she knows Scrum and doesn't have to manage the project. Mary, because she knows Scrum and she will learn project management soon. Mark, because he knows project management and doesn't have to know Scrum. Mark, because he knows project management and will learn Scrum soon. The right answer is A. The management of the project is distributed among all 3 accountabilities, and the Scrum Master is only responsible for making sure that Scrum framework is followed correctly and entirely. Therefore, the main qualifications that a Scrum Master should have are 1. Full knowledge of Scrum, and 2. The ability to coach the team and the product owner. Question 4. We're going to assign a number of our developers to the team. We have the choice of 1. Using 8 part-time developers that also work on other projects of our company, or 2. Change the arrangement of teams and assign only 4 of them full-time and hire a new person to complete the team. Which option is better? Select an answer. First one, because it is less costly. First one, because it creates a more collaborative environment. Second one, because it increases the number of developers in the company. Second one, because it creates a more focused environment. right answer is B. It is recommended for the developers to be working on a single project at a time to stay focused and be more productive consequently. Question 5. No one in the current composition of the team knows how to test a piece of software professionally, and we do need to test each piece of software as it's developed. What should we do? Select an answer. Add another person to the team who is a professional software tester. Ask the test unit, which provides services to other projects of the company, to handle the tests of this project. Outsource the tests to another company. It's too soon to decide on a task that is due to the end of the project. The right answer is A. Team should be cross-functional, capable of doing the A to Z of the project. As long as we deliver the product in small increments throughout the project, we need to conduct the test all along, instead of the end of the project. All roles are assigned now, and we're going to start the project. The product owner starts communicating with the customer to create the product backlog, and others are helping him, as they have nothing else to do yet. Question 6. Who should estimate the volume of work of each backlog item? Select an answer. Product owner, because he has the full responsibility for the product backlog, and knows the items more than others. Scrum Master, because she's responsible for planning. Developers, because they are supposed to do the job, and they know best how much work is needed for each item. The entire Scrum team should estimate the work of items together in a democratic way. The right answer is C. Creating and maintaining the backlog is the responsibility of the product owner, and he or she asks the development team to estimate the volume of the work of each item. Question 7. 1 week passes by, and less than half of the product backlog requirements is recorded. The product owner believes that it's best to start the first sprint with this information, rather than waiting for the whole backlog to be completed. What should we do? Select an answer. Yes, it's a good time to start the first sprint. No, we should wait for the whole backlog to be completed before starting the sprints. The right answer is A. We can and should start delivering the project as soon as the backlog is mature enough to provide us with the information for the near future. Question 8. Who helps the product owner decide on the right action on the previous question? Select an answer. Product owner. Scrum Master. Developers. There's no specific role for that, everyone should share the decision. The right answer is B. Scrum Master coaches everyone and helps them understand the way Scrum works. Question 9. We are going to start the first sprint. What's the first step? Select an answer. Finalizing the product backlog items estimations. Sprint initiation. Sprint startup. Sprint planning. Daily Scrum. The right answer is B. The first step is sprint planning. Backlog maintenance should be continuously done throughout the project and isn't considered a step. Question 10. We are going to form the sprint backlog. The developers prefers to choose 100 points of work for the first sprint, but product owner believes that they should select at least 150 points. What should we do? Select an answer. We should discuss it and reach a common ground. It should be 100 points. It should be 150 points. Scrum Master should decide. The right answer is B. It's only up to the developers to estimate the volume of the work of backlog items and their own capacity of work in each sprint. Question 11. We are going to decide on the length of sprints. Some people believe it should be 2 weeks and some believe that it should be 3 weeks. What should we do? Select an answer. Start with either of them and change it later if needed. Start the first sprint anyway and see how long it needs. Scrum Master has the final saying on this. Product owner has the final saying on this. The right answer is A. The most important point is that sprints should be time-boxed. We can start with an initial duration and change it later, but it should always be time-boxed. We've started the first sprint with 8 backlog items worth 100 points of work, and we are halfway through the sprint now. Question 12. Product owner has detected some new expectations from the customer. When is a good time to implement them into the product backlog? Select an answer. Right after they are detected. After the sprint. Before the next sprint. In the next sprint planning. The right answer is A. The product backlog is dynamically changing all the time, in contrast to the sprint backlog, which is frozen when the sprint planning is done. Question 13. Some team members are not sure about the meaning of one of the sprint backlog items. What should they do? Select an answer. They should try to understand it themselves. They should contact the customer and ask for more information. They should ask Scrum Master to give them more information. They should ask product owner about this. The right answer is B. It is the product owner's responsibility to clarify the meaning of the backlog items. Question 14. Team realizes that the volume of work of one of the items in the sprint backlog is estimated incorrectly, and the current volume of work of the whole sprint backlog is 130 instead of 100. What should we do? Select an answer. They should return some items back to the product backlog to keep the sprint backlog volume to about 100 points. They should ask Scrum Master for more time in this sprint. They should ask product owner to decide on this. They shouldn't do anything now. The right answer is B. The sprint backlog is frozen when the sprint planning is done, and no one can change it for any reason. In extreme cases, product owner has the authority to cancel the sprint though. The sprint time is going to be over, and among 8 sprint items, only 1 is completely finished, 3 items are almost finished, and others are just halfway through. Question 15. Team members realize that if they focus on the 3 almost finished items and extend the sprint for only 2 days, they will be able to complete them too. What should we do? Select an answer. Expand the duration of sprint and develop them. Expand the duration of sprint if customer accepts. Expand the duration of sprint if both Scrum Master and Product Owner accept. Do not expand the duration. The right answer is B. Sprints are time-boxed. Being time-boxed means we cannot change the duration per case. Question 16. Everyone is disappointed with the small number of completed items in the first sprint. The CEO asks the Scrum Master for an explanation on who is responsible for this. What should she reply? Select an answer. All three accountabilities are responsible. The developers are responsible. Two of the developers that were sick for a number of days through the sprint are responsible. Product owner has the primary responsibility. The right answer is A. Scrum accountabilities work as a single unit, and all the achievements and problems are shared among them equally. Question 17. It's time for sprint review. Team members believe that they should only demonstrate the one completed item, but the product owner believes that they should also demonstrate the 3 items that are almost finished. What's the right choice? Select an answer. Team members are right. Product owner is right. Product owner is right, given that they mention in sprint review that those 3 items are not completed yet, and they will be done in the near future. The right answer is A. Only the 100% done items are to be demonstrated, even the 99.999% done items should not be presented to the customer. The customer's representative is replaced by a new person. This new person is a very experienced project manager that used to work in many large and medium projects before. Question 18. The new representative of the customer asks ex-CEO for an urgent meeting with the project manager of SPRJ. Who's the project manager? Select an answer. Product owner. Scrum Master. Development team. None. The right answer is B. Scrum projects do not possess a role named project manager. Question 19. Who should attend the meeting mentioned in the previous question? Select an answer. Product owner. Scrum Master. Team. Product owner and Scrum Master. All 3 accountabilities. The right answer is A. Because product owner is the contact point and responsible for all the communications. Question 20. The new representative of the customer asks ex-CEO to formally introduce their tester and arrange a meeting with him/her to discuss some important topics. What should we do? Select an answer. Formally introduce the person in the team whose expertise is in testing, and send him or her to the meeting. Formally introduce the person in the team who's expert in testing, and send all the team members to the meeting. Do not introduce anyone as the tester, and send all team members to the meeting. Do not introduce anyone as the tester, and send product owner to the meeting. The right answer is B. Everything is shared among team members and no one has any specific title or role among them, and it's only the responsibility of product owner to communicate with the customer. We expect the customer to understand this, because they have accepted the Scrum methodology to be used in this project at the beginning. The first sprint is done, and we are almost ready for the next one. Question 21. We believe that it's a good choice to have a day off after the first sprint, but the company does not accept it. Who should discuss it with the company and try to get their approval? Select an answer. Product owner, Scrum Master, developers. All three accountabilities. The right answer is B. It's the Scrum Master's responsibility to resolve these kinds of problems. Question 22. Unfinished items of the previous sprint, 7 items out of 8, are returned to the product backlog. Developers believe that these items should be selected for the next sprint, so that they can keep focused on them and finish them as soon as possible. However, the product owner believes that some other items are more important now. What should we do? Select an answer. Select old items, to keep focused and maximize the output. Select old items, because we shouldn't start anything new, unless the in-hand tasks are finished. Select new items, because product owner says so. Select new items, because it's a good idea to start the new sprint with new and fresh items. The right answer is C. It's only the product owner who sorts the items, based on whatever factors he or she finds beneficial for the project. We've planned the second sprint, and the sprint has started with 6 items worth 85 points. We are in the middle of the sprint, no items are finished yet, and we are worried that we cannot develop enough items in this sprint either. Question 23. Team members decided to cancel daily scrums for the rest of this sprint, to save time and get things done faster. How do you find this decision? Select an answer. Acceptable, because delivery of the products is our first priority. Not right, but acceptable since they've reached this decision, and it's their own responsibility to manage their own efforts. Not acceptable, because daily scrum is required in Scrum. Not acceptable, because 15 minutes a day is not that much. The right answer is C. Daily Scrum is part of the Scrum framework and should not be cancelled for any reason. Scrum Master ensures that developers attend the daily scrums at the time and place defined in the sprint planning. If developers are not willing to attend the meeting, it is the Scrum Master's responsibility to explain the reasons to them and convince them to do it. Question 24. Product owner realizes that the recent changes the customer requires affect 5 of the sprint backlog items entirely. What should we do? Select an answer. Ask team members to stop working on those items and focus on the remaining item of the sprint backlog. Change those 5 items in the sprint backlog as soon as possible. Cancel the sprint. Do nothing. The right answer is C. The sprint backlog is frozen after the sprint planning. When the changes are so extreme that finishing the sprint with the frozen backlog is no longer viable, product owner has the authority to cancel the sprint. The second sprint is almost finished, and it's time for the sprint retrospective. We could only finish 2 sprint backlog items in the previous sprint. Question 25. We couldn't finish most of the sprint backlog items in the past 2 sprints. What should we do? Select an answer. Reduce the capacity of sprints. Increase the length of the future sprints. Both of the above. None of the above. The right answer is C. In order to be able to finish all sprint backlog items in time, it seems like we need less planned work and more time in each sprint. We prefer not to change the time box of sprints, but since we were not sure about the proper duration from the beginning and were only testing a duration, it's a good idea to change it too.